Pokemon has entered a new era in more ways than one. With the arrival of the Nintendo Switch, we're getting our first takes on home console versions of Pokemon via Pokemon Let's Go and the upcoming Pokemon Sword and Shield. However, Pokemon has also now entered the realm of gacha with the new mobile game Pokemon Masters, and to no one's surprise, the game has been a huge hit. In just its first week, the game has boasted over 10 million downloads and earned over $26 million in revenue. Even more impressive is the fact that Masters has managed to achieve these numbers while having limited compatibility with a lot of the smartphones out there. Pokemon Masters is currently only supported on smartphones with 64-bit processors, so anyone with a 32-bit phone is just unable to play at the moment until a new update arrives. So if you're still using a slightly older smartphone, you're out of luck for now. These numbers are fantastic and will likely continue to grow. So why does Pokemon Masters matter? Well, in the short term, probably not much will change, but in the long term, the impact of this game could be more than most realize. By the end of 2016, there was an average of 2.8 billion monthly active users of mobile games worldwide. That's over 1/3 of the entire planet's population. It's redundant to say, but the mobile gaming community is enormous, along with the revenue that is generated from it. The Pokemon Company had already tasted the success and power of this mobile market when they released Pokemon Go back in July of 2016. The app was a monster hit, trending worldwide for weeks on end, and even today is still going incredibly strong and has generated over 2.6 billion in revenue since its release, with 100 million of that coming just last month. Now, with Pokemon Masters seeing huge results already, you can rest assured that the Pokemon Company is taking note of this. Pokemon is a global brand and the largest media franchise in the entire world. It stands so much to gain by embracing the mobile market with open arms, as it's begun to do with Pokemon Go and Pokemon Masters. Now, why could this spell possible disaster for future console games? Well, I think that is apparent. The games that bring in the most revenue will likely get more support and more focus. A good Pokemon mobile game will just have more access to players since the barrier to entry is a lot lower. Think about it. Billions of people around the world have access to a smartphone, whereas less than 40 million people have access to a Nintendo Switch currently. The numbers just aren't comparable. And if the mobile Pokemon games are the ones that are making the most money, you can bet your last dollar that the Pokemon Company is going to begin shifting their focus. Pokemon Go has only been around for 3 years, and it's already the most grossing Pokemon game of all time with that 2.6 billion in revenue, and is on track to cross the 3 billion mark by the end of the year. Pokemon Go and Pokemon Masters, however, are very different games and cater toward different audiences. Go is more about collecting and adventuring out into the real world with its unique take on catching Pokemon. Masters, however, offers a unique take on the battling system and offers more to those who have kept up with the Pokemon mainline games. Because of this, Pokemon Masters will likely never match the pace of Pokemon Go. However, it can still easily become the second highest grossing Pokemon game if it keeps the trend that it's on right now. See, these free-to-play mobile games offer such longevity, and the revenue numbers look so different compared to traditional console games. For instance, Pokemon Sun and Moon brought in a total of 879 million in revenue, but the majority of that revenue is front-loaded into the first few months of the game's existence, and then it falls off drastically after that. The mobile games, however, look for a steady flow of revenue that comes in monthly due to the in-game microtransactions. So your customers are constantly keeping up with the game and its updates and pouring more money into it with each new update. Because of this, it's likely that Pokemon Masters will become the second highest grossing Pokemon game of all time. The game still has so many new things that they can add into it. More trainers from the series, more new moves, custom animations, and if they wanted to, They could even eventually add Pokemon that are unique to the Pokemon Masters game alone. So many ways for them to increase revenue and get people hooked on the gacha craze. The possibilities are going to be endless with Pokemon Masters, and I am sure that the Pokemon Company has already realized that. And again, I don't expect this shift or this process to happen overnight. The boom of these mobile games probably had no bearing on the upcoming Pokemon Sword and Shield. However, for the next Pokemon game that is on console, we could begin to see the effects of these mobile games start to kick in. The budget and focus could be shifted in ways that we cannot predict. In my research for this video, I've been reading a lot about this, and many people have been bringing up Fire Emblem Heroes and Fire Emblem Three Houses as a comparison point. However, let's clarify why that is not a good example. So the argument is essentially that Fire Emblem Heroes, which is one of the world's largest gacha games out right now, did not take away from the quality of Three Houses, and that it still was a great game in the end. But again, it's like I said, a trickle effect. It's going to take some time. The effects of Fire Emblem Heroes probably wouldn't be apparent in Three Houses, but rather in the game that comes after. Since after all, Fire Emblem Three Houses began development and production back in 2015. That's 2 full years before Fire Emblem Heroes was even released. Heroes would have next to no bearing on Three Houses. It's the next Fire Emblem game that comes out that will tell the tale, and it will likely be the same for Pokemon. With all this said, it does not mean that the Grim Reaper is coming for Pokemon games on the console. They're not going to go extinct or anything like that. I do think, however, that it will become apparent that the console games will eventually take a back seat to the more popular mobile counterparts. At the end of the day, the Pokemon Company cares about revenue. It's just business, and the bottom dollar will always be what matters the most. Now, as for when this change will shift into full effect, it's really anyone's guess, and there's no way to be sure. But I personally think it's better to start preparing for the change now, so when it does come, no one is taken by surprise. But guys, that's going to be the end of this video and my thoughts, but I would certainly love to hear yours. So let me know down in the comments below what you think about this and whether you think the Pokemon mobile craze will have any effect on the future of the console games. As always, if you want to keep up with future content, make sure to subscribe. My social media links are also down below, so make sure to check those out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.